Hallöchen lovelies, the name is Amos and welcome back to my channel. As you guys can see by the title and also now by the picture, this week I have an outfit of the day drawing for you guys. I'm really excited about this. I've been wanting to do outfit of the day things for a minute, and yeah, sometime last year is when I did this drawing, I think. I finally started doing those, so yay for me! I see this as a very good opportunity to not only practice drawing clothing and like drawing fashion, but also to like practice anatomy and just poses. Like, poses are a thing that I'm not that good with, and I've been meaning to practice them a lot more anyways, so this outfit of the day drawing and others that I'm going to do in the future are like very good practice for that. And I'm also working on other things at the moment that are also mainly me practicing poses and clothing because I love fashion. Fashion is so nice. But yeah, about the drawing. As you guys can see, I didn't start recording until I was doing the line art, which is because I struggled a lot with the sketch layer because this is one of the first times in ages that I was trying to draw my own face, and digitally and not traditionally at that as well. And I was struggling with that. Just like figuring out the actual real-life proportions of my face without making myself look super weird or super unrecognizable was really hard. But yeah, I figured it out in the end, and I was like, okay, I can record this from the line art onwards. I also like took a huge break between doing the sketch layer and the line art, mainly because I was doing most of the sketch layer where I was sitting in cafes and stuff like that, and I didn't have those shoes with me in order to reference them, so I had to wait until I was home in order to like put them down on my desk next to me and use them as a reference, because they're a little bit more complicated to draw, and they're also quite colorful, as you guys are gonna see later. And yeah, so that was a struggle, but I really enjoy drawing chunky sneakers, and I also really enjoy wearing them, so it was definitely worth the struggle, I have to say that. So there's also a lot of me switching between the reference and the picture. It was a lot worse in the beginning of the drawing, and it's gonna get like a lot less as we progress. But I know that that can be a little bit disorienting, so I want to apologize for that. I'm gonna try to do that a little less in the future, and also maybe put my reference up in like a separate tab or like a separate view so it doesn't get as confusing. My filming setup for this drawing was a little bit different than in the last video. I actually left my layers and my whole color thing on the side visible for this recording, mainly because I wanted you guys to be able to like see what it looks like what my whole setup looks like in that regards. I find my brushes quite uninteresting because it's really hard to properly see the specific brush settings from just a recording. It also limits how much you can see of me actually drawing. So if any of you are interested in seeing my brush settings, I can just like put them on Twitter or something, and I'm gonna link them in the description or in the pinned comment or something like that. So that's up to you guys. But yeah, I thought it would be more interesting to see how I work with layers and folders and stuff like that, and how my whole color stuff is set up, because as you guys can see, I have almost all the color options visible. I used the regular color wheel. I used the specific sliders underneath for like the hue, the saturation, and the I forgot the word for the last thing. Basically the how light or dark it is, so like the black value. in the whole thing. And then underneath I have the color mixing tools, where you input one color on the left side and one color on the right side. And then you have the whole gradient between the two colors, basically. Underneath that I have some colors that I have picked out that I constantly use again and again. My gold tones, my grays/silvers, a bunch of default skin colors that I use a lot and that I like mix with each other and tweak. Then my shading colors, which is purples, reds, and I think also some dark blues. And then my highlighting colors, which is yellows, blues, and pinks. I also, if you like scroll down that little patch, I have like all of the pride flag colors referenced down there because I use them pretty regularly, and I got too lazy to always look up what the exact colors are, so yeah, there's that. And underneath that I just have like a field where I have like my color swatches, and those are like the color swatches on the left are for BTS fan art that I was doing, and then the color swatches underneath that as well. And then you have like all the BTS members' name abbreviations for the skin tones that I was figuring out or using. And then underneath that I just have a bunch of colors for some cute soda can concept art thingies that I was doing. I actually wanted to make pins with those, and I'm still planning on doing that, but I don't have the funds right now, and I have like other priorities in regards to creating and that kind of stuff, so those are like on the back burner for now. But yeah, back to the drawing. I have moved on to the coloring stage by now, and as you guys may have noticed and remember from the last video where I was like ranting a little bit about me struggling with finding a good skin tone, I like color picked the skin tone from like the original picture that I'm using as a reference for this. And then I desaturated it essentially, and yeah, just like made it a little bit more neutral because that's just how I like it. Yeah, then I was just highlighting it and then filling in the hair color and working with that a little bit. And yeah, now I'm just like filling everything in and adding the lace to the top, which doesn't look anything even remotely close to the original lace, but I'm really lazy when it comes to drawing fine lace. I don't mind drawing rougher lace, which has like more big visible details, but like fine, small, tiny lace like this really just is too much effort for me, to be honest. Yeah. But I really like the color palette that I have for this picture. I really like those types of mustard or honey yellows as the one that I wore with like this top. And yeah, I just really like the combination of that and blue/jeans colors because I think it looks really nice. Like blue and yellow is a really good combo regarding colors. And yeah, now you can like just see me filling everything in and shading all the clothes, and I'm also adding some layer effects to the denim pieces, which means the skirt and later on the denim jacket that I'm like holding behind my shoulder. And yeah, it's just a nice outfit of the day redrawing, with like a few smaller breaks in between, which I was too lazy to cut out because they weren't long enough that they really bother me, to be honest. Usually when I color things, especially when I want it to be much cleaner and when I want there to be a much clearer edge between the picture itself and the background, I first of all use different line art. I don't use this crayon-like brush to do line art. I use a more clear-cut brush to do line art. And another thing is that I usually do a background for the whole part that I have to color later on, so everything within the line art is gonna get like one solid background color, and then I use a clipping group on like my colors folder, so none of the colors will go outside of the lines. For this picture, it wasn't that important to me for all of the colors to stay strictly within the lines, mainly because I wanted it to have a little bit of a rougher look to it, but also because I decided I didn't want these outfit of the day drawings to be super high effort. Which I didn't fully succeed in, because this still took me like 4 hours, I think, in total. But yeah, it was definitely much less effort than some of my full colored illustrations are. Yeah, and you can see me just coloring the shoes in this. Also, you might have noticed that the canvas size suddenly became smaller, like just the recording became smaller. That's due to the fact that I probably was watching a YouTube video in a separate tab while I was doing this part. And whenever I watch a YouTube video, I use the split screen mode on my laptop. And, yeah, then, like, this happens. The whole program just, like, shrinks in on itself, and therefore the recording space is a little bit smaller. Yeah, sorry about that, but it happens. It's probably gonna happen a lot more in the future as well, because whenever I watch a YouTube video, I have to keep the separate tab open, because you can't just make the video float, at least not on my laptop. But you can do that with Netflix, so whenever I'm watching Netflix, you're not gonna notice a single thing, which is beautiful, I think. But yeah, me coloring in the shoes. I didn't shade the shoes, I don't think, because I was lazy. I didn't feel like doing that because it was just too much effort, and I was mainly shading things with color in this illustration, and not by using cell shading. God, that took a minute. Yeah, so the shading is like not as sharp as it is in other things that I do. I prefer using cell shading, as I mentioned, for like big finished illustrations, just because it gives all of it like a sharper look and a little bit more depth. But that's not the point of this. That's not the point of this whole Outfit X Diary thing for me. This is just more like practicing anatomy and drawing fashion and that kind of stuff, as I mentioned. Because I don't draw clothing often enough, I feel. And yeah, so this is what I'm doing here. And yeah, I think after this I'm mainly gonna fill in the whole face, like as you can see my eyes, give them color, give them some highlights, that kind of stuff. I don't think I put makeup on myself here, simply because I couldn't tell what kind of makeup I was wearing in the reference, due to my phone obstructing the view of that. But yeah, as you guys can see, I'm just about finished on this one, and after the recording stopped, because for some reason I didn't record the end, I finished coloring the line art, and because I like coloring the line art, and then I added a whole I forget what it's called, basically that pink outline, I added that, and just some diamond-like shapes in the background for some interest, visual interest. Also in order to put my whole watermark on the picture somewhere, because I was struggling to find a place where it would fit nicely. But yeah, that's about it. I'm quite happy with how this turned out. I'm planning to do more of this outfit of the day type of thing. I still have quite a few of my own outfits to do, and I have, and a friend of mine who's also like very much into fashion sent me a few outfit pictures of herself. And yeah, I think after I got through some of those, I'm probably gonna open this up to the public and create a hashtag or something on Instagram, so you guys can send me outfit references of yourself if you want to do that. Until then, that's it for this video. if you like this video, please do leave a like and also feel free to subscribe to this channel. If you have anything to tell me or any feedback whatsoever, please do leave a comment. I'd love to talk to you guys. I'd love to see what you have to say. And yeah, you can also find me on Twitter and on Instagram as per usual. Links are in the description. And that's all for this video. I hope you guys have an amazing day or night or whatever time it is for you right now. And please do be kind to yourself.